Dave the pharmacist here again. Now I have to go against the grain for a couple of minutes, and I just want to talk about the idea of cholesterol itself and this idea of good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. So these have been really useful tools to sort of educate the public about, the idea of cholesterol and HDL and being aware that high cholesterol in your blood can be associated or increase your risk of heart attacks. But in some ways, the way that we talk about these in these public health campaigns, the way that we talk about them isn't exactly accurate. So I just want to, just to be clear, I want to make a couple of things, a couple of statements to you that I think will help us going forward and talking about our drugs for cholesterol. The first thing I want to say is that cholesterol, there is only one type of cholesterol. So let me clarify my statement here. But this is a statement, I think, that if we want to really understand what's going on here, I think we have to get really wipe away all the sort of public health stuff and the simplification. I work in a college of pharmacy, and so I have a lot of colleagues who are chemistry experts. And so if I go to my an expert in chemistry who actually knows about the actual molecules and what atoms are in these molecules and how they're configured and how they look, if I go to one of my chemistry colleagues who is an expert and I say, can you draw for me what good cholesterol is and what bad cholesterol is? Can you draw me the different molecules and how they look? That chemistry expert will say, Dave, you're crazy. There is only one cholesterol. Cholesterol is a molecule made up of atoms, just like water is a molecule made up of atoms, H2O. So there is no good water and bad water. There's only water. Water has oxygen, and it's connected to 2 hydrogen atoms, and so that's why it's called H2O. Cholesterol has way more atoms in it. It's a bigger molecule, but there is only one cholesterol, just like there's only one molecule. There's only one water molecule, at least as far as I know. So this idea of good cholesterol and bad cholesterol is actually just a bit of an oversimplification. So in fact, we probably should think about these good and bad cholesterol a little bit differently. And I want you to I'm just going to present to you a sort of framework to think about this to help us navigate this issue. First, to get to the bottom of what these molecules are, we have to just talk a little bit about how substances move around in the blood, first off, okay? So cholesterol and fats are fatty substances, fat-soluble substances. And so they're very different than water-soluble substances in the way they can travel around in the blood. So the blood is a kind of a liquid, as you know, that is water-based. So there's water in there. That's why, your kids can go take one of those big Slurpees that has, 35 grams of sugar in it, and they can just down those crazy sugar drinks very quickly. And the one thing about sugar and salt also, but the one thing about sugar is that sugar is soluble in water. So when you drink a big sugar drink, your stomach really doesn't have to do anything. That sugar can just freely absorb into your blood because it dissolves in your blood very easily. Just like if you throw some sugar in your coffee and you stir it around, that sugar dissolves in that coffee just like that sugar will dissolve in the blood. And then it will just travel through the blood, and it can go and have access to all different kinds of cells and all parts of your body just because it dissolves in the blood and it moves very easily in the blood. Now, take a fatty substance and put it in your coffee. Take a lump of butter, put it in your coffee, or take some olive oil or some kind of canola oil and pour it in your coffee and stir that around. Well, what do you get? Well, oil and water don't mix. You know what I mean? So we know actually that fatty substances don't dissolve very well in water and water-based substances like drugs, like blood. So the body has developed a way, so that means when you eat fatty substances like fats and cholesterol, the body has to have a way to distribute all of that stuff around in the body. We talked about in one of our previous sessions that your heart muscle cells can use little tiny fats to burn, create into chemical energy. If there's oxygen available and they have little mitochondria gas stations to create the gasoline, they can use little fats, but those fats have to get to the heart for the heart to be able to use it. Same with your muscles if you're exercising. So in essence, the body has developed a system of vehicles or cars or trucks that drive fatty substances around in the blood. Those fatty substances are little fats and cholesterol. So essentially, if we think back to a blood test for the different types of cholesterol, and we'll just look at that again. The LDL molecule and the HDL are particles, I guess. The LDL particles and the HDL particles, they're not cholesterol or different types of cholesterol. Really, what these are is they're vehicles or trucks that carry fats and cholesterol around in the blood so that they can distribute in the blood very easily. So basically, your stomach, if you eat a big cheesecake or some fatty thing tonight after supper, all those fats cannot just be dumped into the blood directly like sugar can. They have to be packaged into vehicles, and it's the vehicles that drive them around in the blood. So essentially, when we talk about LDL and HDL, and there's other kind of particles like this in the blood, but these are the two that are most commonly referred to. Just think about these vehicles as trucks that carry fatty substances around, cholesterol and fats, because they cannot dissolve into the blood on their own. So if this is an LDL particle, you'll have these little fats inside an LDL particle, and you'll have cholesterol inside of here, and this will be a pretty big, crazy big molecule with all this kind of stuff. And on the outside, they'll have these special molecules that interact with the water to allow this to just suspend itself and float around in the blood without, dissolving out like what would happen if you put oil into your water or something. These things will suspend themselves in the water and allow the cells of the body to be able to access them if they need them.